Live. Okay. Anyone? Bueller? Up, down to there. There. That. All right. There you go. Try that.
You want me to try to do it from my phone?
No, we're going live. We've been live for a couple minutes now.
It's not live.
Look right there.
So we are live. Are we on YouTube?
So
Absolutely.
yeah, refresh this.
I'll refresh this. Hopefully you guys out there are
website,
seeing
yes.
something.
And then hit play. We're in the middle. Not that. There we
Hey,
go.
we are live.
We
Thank
did
you very
it!
much.
New configuration.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight on Turn5.Live. All of you waiting at home, I apologize. We're 7 minutes a bit late tonight. Technical difficulties. This is still a work in progress. I don't have my headphones on. You don't have your headphones on?
You don't want your headphones on.
I don't want them on?
Well, we're like spiking up real bad.
Yeah, well, it's like 20 seconds behind, so I was hearing you twice.
Oh, wow. Well, that's even better.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you all for joining us tonight. Big weekend, huh, Brent?
It was huge.
Yeah.
From racing to
Raining.
Mother Nature,
Yeah.
back to racing again.
Yeah. A little sunburn, a little windburn, a little
Yep.
rain burn. All work together.
Yeah.
Kind of neat. Yeah.
Sweating like pigs on Friday night and freezing like pigs in winter.
I don't know. I wore shorts and just had one shirt on, and it was terrible last night. I tell you what. We got to thank our sponsors. First things first, let's talk about Charmaine's and Lion Care, Lion Tamer Beard Care, our two primary sponsors.
Yep.
Our secondary sponsors, of course, we have the Flores Group,
Mm-hmm.
real estate people. So, gosh, take care of those folks. Also, A2Z.
AC.
I told you.
See, we just
AC to Z Mechanical and our friend Mark Newman out there, along with some other folks. Who else do we got?
We got the Lazy Days RV.
Lazy Days RV.
Rentals from the Wardles. Check them out on Facebook.
Absolutely. And our distribution folks.
Yeah.
FVP.
FVBparts.com.
Absolutely.
Check those guys out. They give us a lot of hookups. We're giving away some more products tonight, so that will be something we're going to do.
Fantastic. And tonight's humor is going to be provided by Wild Turkey. So, Wild Turkey.
Stella.
Brent's drinking
China
soda
Rock.
pop because
Yeah,
that's
it's a
what
Coke.
Brent does. Absolutely. So, anyway, the great night of racing on Friday night. And Saturday night had its challenges, but I think the racing was fantastic.
No, I think the show itself went off. Minus the little middle of the deal rain delay there on Saturday. I think everything went really well. The crowd came back to it. But of course, Royal Purple Modifieds were there Friday night.
Never heard of them.
You never heard of them? Let me tell you about them. Let me tell you about them, Todd. Trevor Cristiani took the quick time on Friday.
Yeah.
And then your main event top 5, Zach Webster was 5th, Eric Reed 4th, Dylan Caldwell 3rd, Jonathan Gomez, and then of course Trevor Cristiani picked up the win on Friday. So lots of action during that main event.
Huge. You know, we started the night out with everybody ready to go. We had 16 nice cars in the pits and so forth. In our first heat race, we had an incident with Jonathan Gomez and Chris Fenton, two of our top drivers, two of our top teams. And unfortunately, we lost the Fenton car for the weekend because of backchute contact with the hard wall.
Yeah.
Those walls don't move. And,
that was a heavy hit.
Yeah. Chris has tested them. He's kind of following my career path. Test all the walls to see if they move. They don't move.
Make your way right around. They don't.
I've tried to talk to him about that. But, it just a bad deal there, just racing deal, I think, in my opinion. And we lost the 23 car, which is one of the standout guys for this year so far. Of course, in Meridian Speedway and so forth. So, second heat race pretty much went off without a hitch. We had a great battle there with a few of the cars. The main event, Neil Latham battling hard on the outside, trying to hold on. I believe second or third place at the time. Got into the back chute wall, climbed the wall, similar to what we've seen a few hundred times at Meridian Speedway. Those K rails, you're not meant to drive side by side with them, and the cars get up in the air. First thing Neil told me when he's sitting there backed into the water barrels up in turn 3, he goes, nothing I could do. And I said, yeah, well, the car's in the air. It's kind of hard to control things.
Yeah.
You know, the wheels aren't on the ground. The brakes don't work very well.
Doesn't help you one bit.
No. And so Latham, of course, in the main event, they got the car back out. But the problem was the fuel cell was actually hitting the rear end. And we were real iffy about letting him go back out. And I got in his ear and told him, I said, it's not going to move. The travel is done on the rear end. And, we'll watch you for a couple laps. And we ended up bringing him in. Just it wasn't going to be safe for him to continue. I didn't know if it would hurt anything more. We didn't want to lose the car, of course. But he's sitting second in points. And those guys worked their butts off at Impact Motors to get the car on the racetrack. And we're a huge sponsor help for the weekend. With helping out with getting cars to the racetrack, and Willie Dalton and the other teams, Patrick Gold, CJ Sturm made her debut with us. Willie Dalton made his debut with us for this trip. Dylan Caldwell on Friday night, pretty
drove
cool.
The wheels off that thing, yeah.
Dylan,
I tell you, we at one point during the main event on Friday night, we had Jonathan Gomez leading and Trevor working very hard on the outside. We had about a 30-lap green flag run there. And Eric Reed was right there with them, looking for a place to go, high side, low side. Dylan caught up to him. And we were about to have a trophy dash run for the end.
Yep.
And it was going to be kind of fun. 4 cars kind of in a wad there. And Reed and Caldwell got together a little bit. Dylan blamed himself. He was so mad at himself. He pulled up next to me as we were waiting for cleanup on Reed's car. And I put my head in the window and I said, how you doing there, buddy? And he goes, that's all me, man. I feel terrible. And he goes, I just slid up and touched him.
Got into him with that.
And it's crazy because when you think about what we do as officials, we see things our way kind of.
right?
But that's what I saw too. But I had people screaming at me out of the stands, and Dylan never hit him. And Dylan said he hit him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what?
He's got the bird's eye view, right?
Oh yeah, I take my helmet's off. Dylan never touched him, you asshole.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell?
Race fans getting passionate about their drivers?
Oh,
Never heard of it.
So poor Dylan's like, yeah, it was me. I did it. It's my bad. And I feel terrible for Eric. And those guys became pretty good friends this weekend. They had a lot of racing. And I got to, talk about that a little bit. Dylan had battled with Patrick Gold out of Utah, and they worked hard. Patrick took the outside. Dylan was working him on the inside in Lee Hackney's car on Lee Hackney's birthday eve, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
And battled him hard. And every time Dylan would get clear of him, the yellow would come out. And he'd have to go back.
Again.
3 or 4 times he had cleared the pass and then had to back it up.
Yeah.
That was hard.
And Dylan just kept coming down the back. What do I got to do to pass this guy? After the race was over, Patrick made a good friend with Dylan, too. Those guys had a lot of respect for one another. Dylan's a hell of a race car driver, and to have him in the series was really cool. But to see him after the race is so happy and having fun.
Yeah.
Because he's a very intense young man. Yeah. And shoes to fill in his mind, I think. And boy, to see him smiling and having so much fun.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was good to see because that's the Dylan I remember when he was in Outlaw Karts.
Right.
With his grandpa.
When he started, yep.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see. Yeah. Well, Friday night went that way. Trevor checked out and led and kicked some tail. They got that car working. Yeah.
As that thing sits, it rotates.
What I've noticed about the Christianity family and their cars, they go in so much deeper than everyone else. They carry so much more speed into the corner. It's just really cool. That's a lot of car control from Trevor.
Yeah.
Well, bless his heart, he's a great race car driver, and he's got a great team.
Yep. And that helps him out a bunch. And then we'll just go straight to Royal Purple last night, too. I mean, the rain cut it right in the middle.
Sure.
But I tell you what.
We actually started in the rain.
Yeah.
And, it was iffy if I was going to let him go, and I let him go. And I think we worked really, really well with Adam and Steve Mulder on what our plans were. We had a couple yellows where we could keep the cars running. I let him, and thank you, Brent, for doing a great job with the microphone on Friday night. I forgot to tell you how great that was for our sponsor. The accolades and so forth that I got on Saturday from our sponsors were great, by the way.
Good.
It was Larry H. Miller Ram pickup night at the racetrack on Friday, and the accolades I got back from that were really strong. So that really helped us secure that for next year.
Get that done.
But on Saturday night, during the rain, we'd let them warm up, Donovan, and Donovan is our spotter official. So
I got to play in the spotter stand.
Donovan did a wonderful job.
I have found that if you can't be in the car and feeling that intensity, the second best intensity you can feel is in that spotter stand, man. Those guys get just as agitated and hot as we do when we got our helmets on. So feeling that and being a part of that's just almost like being a part of the action in there.
Yeah.
So that's a hoot and a holler to be up there.
Turn 3 at Meridian's that way too, because the cars are coming right at you. Yeah, and I worked the sprint car series that we're going to talk about with Brent Cole here in a little bit, the NSRA series for a year or two, and along with super modifieds, and I was always that position.
Yeah. And
looking right in their eyes as they're coming down the back chute is pretty dang cool. We'll talk about Sierra here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But on Saturday night, great call. Adam came up to me and says, "We're going to lose the track." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Let's run the Hornets." And I said, "Sure." We had 20 laps to go. We impounded all the Royal Purple modifieds right in their order. The guys were fantastic. The teams were. I thought it was outstanding. The way they respected one another. They all got out of their cars. Here we go. The track's going to be green. We're going to start over. Trevor was already in the lead by that point. We had to start him single file because we did have our third cone. It was considered our third cone restart, and away they went. And I think we ran green, white, checkered.
Yeah, we did. Those last 20 laps were all consistent. They were clean. They were fast.
Yep. Yeah. Ripped them off quick.
Cars were all different.
14 and the 22 had a couple of good bump and runs. And,
it was awesome watching Jonathan and seeing Lynn Hardy back out there on the track, and they were just enough to let him know he was there and move him a little bit, and
maybe a little more than enough here and there.
It made it exciting. A
couple of times coming out of 4.
Yeah. And it's props to Trevor. I mean, Trevor and the crew, they check out and they're gone, and then you look back in the pack, and right there for second and third, those guys are just beating and banging on each other, and the crowd on the west side where we were at was going wild every time they came through. So it was awesome to see Jonathan and Lynn do that, and Eric Reed was there, Zach Webster. It's always cool to see the 29 car up there. And there for a while, it looked like second through fifth was going to be the race of the night.
I think it kind of was there. At least in the modified order.
Yeah,
I think it kind of was. The mini stocks had a good race too.
But mini stocks ever put on a good show. What do you think?
Oh, I did. I missed them because I was teching car or getting ready for going out. But
the last 6-7 laps once Sanders. So we're going to change over. Sanders sailed that thing in so deep into 1 and 3. He would literally not lift, turn the tire, let the car float through the air, land about apex, and just slide it through. He closed a 3-second gap in 6-7 laps. I've never seen him drive that hard.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
One, maybe 2 more laps, he would have been.
He would
have been right there.
Out of 4.
Yep, they would have been right there.
That was beautiful. You want to warm up?
Oh,
here we go.
The Basco's in the house.
Well, geez, there we go.
That's better. Donovan had a bottle you needed open.
It's a Sunday.
It was a brand new bottle. And by the way, Adam, I don't know if you watch or not, but Adam Nelson.
Oh, you watch.
Oh man, that last night in the beer barn.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Holy Nikes. I'll say, holy shit. I'm probably still drunk from that.
I mean, that's the cool. I mean, it's Diamond Cup. Right. All these years, and Adam does some extra stuff there for those drivers and crews. And
Kelly Joe on the tacos.
And the guys that make the tow and move on,
The beer assistant.
We got a roadie.
That can of beard. But back to Friday real quick before we get Brent on here. Sure. Project Filter Pro 4s were there. Brendan Fries and Kenny Chandler putting on a pretty good show. Brendan drove the wheels off that thing right there at the end. Bringing it in there. Jordan Harris, he's one of those guys in that Project Filter Pro 4 class that's going to be somebody to reckon with, I think. Jordan's getting better and better each week.
Jordan's
and then
a good wheelman.
Yeah. I mean,
and for as young as he is,
yeah.
He's done a lot.
I got the pleasure of when he was running in the Super Stocks a couple of years ago. He ran side by side with Melissa and all of them. And, when you've got family out there, even though he was young, that was one kid. I didn't mind him getting up beside her and going door to door because I knew he was going to race her clean. And you didn't have to worry about that. And you can tell Chandler and those guys pull up beside him, and he races them as long as he can. So, it's pretty cool.
Kenny told me a story about him and Brendan Fries, and a couple races back, they were kind of mad at each other about something. I don't know what it was. And Kenny said, "You know what I did? I went down there, Todd, and I talked to him. And I said, this car is junk, and here's what you need to do. And Kenny's forgot more than most people will ever remember. And he's very bright. He's very good at the suspension setup. He may not know all the technical little fine points, but he sure knows how to make them corner. And he went down there and told them what was wrong with their car, and then they beat him.
Yep.
And Kenny's always been that way. He's always been one to come grab you right up front and tell you, here's what I'd do. And it worked. And I asked Brendan last night, I said, would Chandler tell you that help you? He goes, oh, yeah, we were missing. We were way out to lunch, and Kenny fixed it for us. And even though they're on-track rivals, when they're off-track, Kenny's the man,
Yeah.
And world's good with Ken in it. He's a great guy.
And you got to keep that Pro 4 class growing, and they're getting there again.
Sure are.
Car counts are good.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, when in 2005, we had 43 of them show up for one of the events.
Yep.
We had a strong field of 22, 23 every night.
On an
so
average,
the Pro Force, they go cyclical like that. So do modified speed, to be honest. They go cyclical like that. It looks like they're on the way back up. It's because of folks like Ken Chandler, Ryan Bailey, and in the past, Jim Bailey, even myself, maybe Low, and that have kept it going. A lot of fun. Yeah. Saturday night's main, though, in Royal Purple Mods, we teched a bunch of stuff. We teched things we didn't normally tech, and it kind of caught some of the guys by surprise. But we didn't have any penalties. We didn't have anything. Great rebound by the Impact Motors team, Kyle Latham, Neil Latham, to get Neil's car back out, and he ran real competitive in the main Saturday night. In fact, I believe he was faster.
Yeah.
So that was good. Lynn Hardy, what happened to them on Friday was kind of odd. They broke a yoke on the driveline. And I went up and took some stuff out in the transmission. So they actually had to replace the bearings and the seal at the end of the transmission to make the car work. And, of course, he traveled with the Redbone team. So they had a great field of guys that help out Redbone. And they were able to get that's Eric Reed's team. And then they were able to get the car fixed on Saturday morning. And the hammer, Lynn Hardy. And I think he's planning on running with us a lot more. He had a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. And him and his wife are great folks. And it's good to have them there. So.
Yeah. Good to see him running up front there. Domino's Legends were out Friday night. Donovan Barr, tell you what, that kid is going to win some races here really soon.
Maybe in a modified.
Maybe in a modified.
Maybe, you never know.
You know, I mean, he's getting to be a driver. I mean, I watched Donovan. You know, he started with when Brock was racing the dirt carts, and one of those kids that jumps in. And these last couple of years, but really the last few weeks.
Last year he had some great growth. This year, the refinement to his lines and his runs and his consistency to his runs. Beautiful to watch.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah. He'll put it out there and come in, high side down the front stretch, and there's not, on our side of the fence, it's not scary to watch because he's going to make it through there, and he's doing a heck of a job.
Oh, impressive as hell.
We haven't got anybody chatting with us yet. I know that we have listeners out there. Let's get somebody chatting.
Yeah, question.
We've got a lot more watching than it shows, by the way. I just wanted to let you know the monitor's way off. It's more than 10. I don't know if you knew that or not. Last week we had a lot more than that. So, guys, chat it up. You have some questions for us here?
If you guys got a question, want to input anybody who
questions, comments, tell us how we look, whatever.
Right. Got a beer recommendation.
Hey, Jeremy, thank you, Jeremy. He's right away. Awesome job, you and the Meridian crew. Thank you. We appreciate that. I think Meridian crew is fantastic all night. We had the water down in the main event on Friday, and they got that water cleaned up so quick, and our drivers understood what we were trying to do to get the water dry. So it was a bit of a struggle on Friday night with us being it showed 55 minutes on a race monitor, but it was really an hour and 5 minutes. We were on track. And then the sprint cars were actually on track an hour and 15.
Yep.
So it was a bit of a push on Friday night. And thank God, the mini stocks and for the Pro 4s and the Legends went green, white, check.
Quick. Yep.
Yeah.
And the
minis did.
They had the wreck with Jason.
But that was in the Trophy Dash.
Was it really?
Yeah, that's Trophy Dash. Last lap Trophy Dash.
Yes. Right on.
Oh, man, that thing
took it off good, huh? Yep. So good there. But really, Katie Miller, Cameron Madsen, Evan Brown, they were all chasing down Ethan Jones on Friday night, and that's just what they're going to do this year.
Ethan's on his roll this year.
They are going to be chasing him down all the way through September and October. And, he was there last year with Casey Tillman. Tillman's not running the full schedule, so kind of opens the door for Ethan to take a shot. But like I said, Evan Brown, after that head-on collision a couple weeks ago, got the car back, a top 5 finish. And then Donovan Barr, can't say enough about that kid. He's going to be right there too. Yep. So other than that, we went sprint car racing Friday night. we'll talk to Brent about that, or do we want to go over some?
Well, Brent hasn't texted me back yet. We'll have Brent here in just a minute.
Where are you at?
Brent went to watch Deadpool 2 or something like that. And he said he'd call me as soon as
Professor X dies in the end. Spoiler alert.
No, what are you doing? I'm going to hurt you I'm going to gut you like a trout. And I'm drunk enough right now, I probably can. Good Lord.
But Friday. It was summer on Friday, right?
It was
when we got there.
Stupid summer.
It was warm. Friday. It was hot.
Back boob sweat going on.
Ew.
Hey, when you're big, it happens.
Sure, we can't take a break.
I paid a lot of money for dinner tonight. I really don't want to lose it. So you could refrain from saying about your back sweat anymore.
But
you could clothe a small country just by shaving the hair on his back. You know that?
I don't know that.
You could clothe Ethiopia. All them poor kids suffer.
Alpacas.com.
Wow. Beautiful.
There we go.
Never look at you the same again. But NSRA, I love it when these guys come to town.
Oh,
I mean, walking in there on Friday night, 20 plus cars.
Sure. What, 22?
22 to start. Night? Yep. So it was pretty cool. And I think the heat races, when you get these guys in, the heat races are kind of cool to watch too, because everything's all about getting to that main. Kyle Bergener, Johnny Giesler, and Matt Elliott, top 3 in their first heat race on Friday night. Justin Segura, Robert Beck, and Brian Wharf. And then Aaron McPeak picked up a heat race win in his Boise Bath and Kitchen car. Mitch Holt and Matt Hine. And then main event, of course, Kyle Alberding.
Oh, yeah. That was a great battle with Bergener, too. Every restart was whoever was on the outside seemed like they were going to prevail.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's that high
both those kids are just the future. And
they're just going. Corey Lockwood back behind the wheel of the sprint car full-time this year. And I think he's going to be there. I mean, he's always the top 2 or 3 right there. And
Corey's one of the outlaw dirt cars.
Yeah.
So it's just like Sierra and Johnny and Brian and the rest of them. He's got all that talent and car control.
Oh, yeah.
Sucks what happened Saturday night. They had a valve cover or something leaking.
Yeah.
And it was really coming off on the right rear, and he couldn't stay with the crowd.
Stay on it. Yeah. But he did really well. And then Ron Larson kicked off the Friday night in 3rd, which would propel him to a huge Saturday, too. So
yeah, interesting Saturday for him, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then Brian Wharf and Kyle Alberding. But that's not right. Kyle Bergener rounded out the top 5. Yeah. But that's what my little sheet here says. So, but it was Bergener because Kyle cannot be 1st and 5th. He's a hell of a driver, but he can't do that.
Well, it depends on how many parts you lose along the finish line.
That's true.
Yeah. And then Aaron Wilson, your defending NSRA champ, was quick time on Friday night. So
sure was
always cool to watch them. But Friday was just in that NSRA main, just a lot of little things. You know, there wasn't a driver that you could say was causing it all. It was just here and there.
No. Just like with the Royal Purple mods. You had a lot of little things that.
And he just drug it out, and it hurt the. I mean, I think a lot of those drivers in the NSRA field could have done a lot better. We just didn't have a whole lot of green flag laps in a row. Right. There was not a lot of long runs like that.
They used the full invert. Mm-hmm. So you got to go past cars.
That's so many cars that pass in that little itty-bitty track, and I love Meridian for that. But those wide tires, sling them around, getting around them.
You have his phone number texted.
Yeah, but it's cool.
I love it. Oh man, I love it. You gotta turn up your phone.
It is so cool. But that was the Friday night deal, and of course, unfortunately, we lost the 25 early in practice that night, so dropped us down to 21 cars to finish the opening night.
Talk about that while Donovan's queuing up our guest. Yeah. I was down there in turn 3 getting ready for our event, and that was one of the most savage wrecks I've seen. And thank God Sierra's okay.
Yeah.
The throttle stuck, and I know that team goes through prep.
Oh yeah,
better than anyone, in my opinion. This was a freak deal. I imagine they're probably going to find some part failed, but it wasn't for lack of, And there's been there was some evil people that said maybe they ought to do it, and that's just not the way it was. And
Mike and Darren, all those guys,
they're extremely thorough.
They're not going to put
known them for a long time.
Yeah.
They don't break.
No,
and they don't have things like that. So it was just a bad deal. She couldn't pull it back. She couldn't pull a foot back. So something was hung up in the linkage area or one over center or something. And the cam thing that they use a bell crank looking deal for those. I watched, as she was coming down the back chute, I watched her tuck into a ball like we're taught in the outlaw cart. She pulled against the steering wheel, pulled against her belts and tucked, and held her head straight, and she did everything just right. And I mean, this is in a split second before she hit. She had the car shut off and the brakes locked down, and she prepared herself to take the hit. And thank God for the safety equipment. And to be honest, the coaching that she's had, and just how intelligent a girl she is. And thank God she's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was the
catch fence did its job great.
The fence did its job. It took the hit away, put her back onto the track. But yeah, and some of the stuff that was said that we don't want to get into. But I know Mike and those guys, they're not going to put a car on the track that's unsafe, and they are definitely not going to put Sierra or Johnny or Kate in a car that they aren't sure about either. So
let's talk real quick about the Northwest Pro 4 Alliance, because they're flipping me crap saying I look old on the phone on the phone right now. So Mike, here's me looking at you, and I know you're looking at me. July 7th, I will have my revenge on you, my friend.
And I fixed the headphones.
You fixed
you did?
Yeah. Can we hear?
We can hear.
Can we hear Brent?
Not yet. I haven't called him yet.
Why don't you call Brent?
I'm not going to call Brent. Talking about the old looking old on the phone.
Well, hopefully that's better. Hey, headphones work.
Hey!
Covers up some of my ugly face. It's better.
Not enough.
Go ahead and call him.
All right. Hold on. We're going to call Brent here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be kind of a neat deal here on Turn5.Live. We'll be able to talk directly to one of the race directors. Of course, I believe is the race director for the NSRA. Long-time official.
He's got a really cool name.
Well, he's cool.
He is.
He's way cool.
I was talking about the Brent part.
And his dad is Wimpy
I was
Cool.
talking about the last name.
His dad's so cool he can name himself Wimpy Cool.
Wimpy Cool.
And Wimpy Cool is pretty cool.
Yes.
If you get a Wimpy's cool, you're pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hit dial here. So, Brent, if you are watching and listening,
hurry up.
I'm pushing the buttons now.
Oh, we're gonna call him on the air.
They like listening to me, right?
We stopped using our other studio software. We're just going bare bones here.
Yeah, and it's staying up,
right?
Yeah, it's like Viagra for.
And for those guys who are into the technical side of it, OBS Studio was having some issues, so we are relocating.
Did you push that button?
I have not pressed the button yet.
Why don't you,
Brent? We're calling you right now. Bye. Stop yelling at me.
So we're waiting for Brent on the line. Hopefully he'll be right here. Brent and I go way back. This is Adam Nelson's brother-in-law, of course, Kelly Joe Cool, and Brent's a great friend. So a lot of insights onto what happened last night. We got to talk a little bit about the overall Diamond Cup winner. Hey, Brent, is that you?
That's me.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to Turn5.Live. Thanks for being on with us tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, this is Todd. You're here with Brent Artie. Say hello, Brent.
Hi, Brent. This is Brent.
And and you're also here with Big D himself, Mr. Donovan Johns.
How's it going, Brent?
Oh, good, Donovan. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, you guys put on a damn good show.
Well, thank you. We tried. We had 22 really fast cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it did. I think that's probably going to be the biggest. The Rory Price, maybe the Daffodil Cup will be close, but that's probably the best field of sprinters we're going to see in the Western United States. So the King of the Wing stuff will be close right there as well, I'm sure. But holy cow, Diamond Cup never disappoints, does it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was we had 17-car invert both nights, and so everybody was within a second of each other. So it was definitely tight field.
Yeah.
We were talking, Brent, of course, starting off not so hot there, losing Sierra's car in that scary crash, and then the Friday night field was cut a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, I know you guys are right on top of that, but it's a tough break bringing Sierra back in this year after her year off and then having it in like that. We all knew she walked away. Anything you can enlighten us on that about there with Sierra's crash and losing her early here in Diamond Cup weekend?
Yeah, it was definitely unfortunate. She's been trying real hard to get that thing back out after taking a year off, and we wrote a story on her the day before that she was coming back and how she won the Diamond Cup, and they'd had some throttle issues early, and they thought they had them resolved, and obviously they didn't. And when that throttle stuck, that's probably one of the worst hits straight on. She locked up the brakes coming off of turn 2, so she knew what happened. Just couldn't get to the thing quick enough.
What you're talking about there was kind of interesting. I know that you and I were both on the track and looking at those skid marks down there. that car, as soon as she touched the gas down in 1 and 2, it went wide open. And when it did, it cammed over, whatever it did. But
I think it did. It cammed over, and that was the end.
It was frying the tires, and she was on the brakes. At one point, I had a visual of the rear tires were smoking, the front ones were stopped. And that split second when the brake needed to work before she shut it down, and those skid marks had to be 200 feet long. Yeah,
easy. But the amazing part was, and Mike Jackson doesn't mess around with safety, and while the rest of that car was in pieces, that the cockpit looked just like it was when she crawled in it. So that was a really good thing.
Yeah, thank God for that. Yeah.
So other than that, though, Brent, night number 1, and young Kyle Alberdine jumps out and picks up the first night's main event win after just a lot of little mishaps here and there, kind of drugged that main event out a little bit. But I think in the end, everybody seemed pretty happy. What about on the NSRA side on the Friday night show? Did you guys feel like it went okay once we got things rolling?
Yeah. 29 years of Diamond Cup, and there's a reason we had 22 teams here, because everybody wants that custom diamond ring. And so Friday night, our supposedly best in the Northwest forgot to bring their A game. They were all, driving with the right foot and not using the brakes. So we definitely had to get a handle on that. I think, Ron Larson was the fastest that night and was fortunate enough to get through all of this stuff, but just caution after red flag. I think we ended up with 6 cautions and 2 red, and so it was frustrating for us as officials, because we know we're better than that. And so, of course, you guys know that the Saturday pit meeting was hey, we need a better show out of you guys, and I think they did Saturday, And Kyle, of course, he blew up his motor in Roseburg. So that was a new piece in there, and they were dialing it in. So he was a little bit off Friday night, but of course they figured it out by the main. And 17-car invert at that little place. It's hard to get up there if you don't get some green flag laps.
Yeah, it's a heck of a battle between him and Bergener. Every restart they were swapping the lead. It seemed like the high line was the way to go.
Yeah, that was funny. Berg, in fact, a little piece of information that Kyle, I'm sure, didn't share with anybody, but he didn't realize that the NSRA rules that the leader can take the high line or the low line. He thought he had to be on the low line. So,
wow,
there you go.
Which Kyle?
Kyle Bergner.
Oh,
he's like
next year. He was in the lead, and he wanted the outside, but he thought he had to go to the inside. So that was pretty funny.
Crazy, great show though. I'm how big a fan, and you and I have worked together on the series before, and that sprint cars are the thing that makes me get excited. Supermods and sprints. So it's where I grew up doing, and it was just a great show for me. From a fan, I love Diamond Cup. This year it was kind of nice because our series was able to run first, and I could have my time to sit and watch sprint cars rather than tech cars and stuff. So it was a lot of fun for me. It was also fantastic working with your group as far as getting to the scales and keeping the hot lane open, all that kind of thing. And a lot of fun. I'm glad that yourself and Benson and Bert Solar are the classy guys that you are, that, we all work. We kind of just know what we're doing, just by looking at each other a little bit. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. It was great working with you guys, and you guys had a great fill of cars, and it's good to be home and seeing the pits as full as they were. So,
all right, let's move to Saturday. What happened Saturday, Brent?
Whoa, Saturday was weird with the weather there early, Brent. But tell us a little about, we rolling right into the main. Larson comes in to qualifying, and even after qualifying with a pretty comfortable lead, as long as everything went good for him in the main event, working his way towards the 2018 Diamond Cup. Talk a little bit about Ron, because I know you guys have been around him a lot. I've been around.
Ron Larson? Oh, he's crazy. He's wonderful.
He's crazy. I mean, I spent the night in Jackson's shop rebuilding the car a few years ago. I think
that's the same car he's running now.
Yeah,
still,
I mean, it's like he's one of those guys, and he was joking with me before, and even out in Victory Lane, he's like, so far I've hit every fence and every wall at Meridian Speedway. It's nice to park it in the Victory Lane at the end. And unfortunately, though, Brent, he has, and it's not to his fault, but he just shows up there, and it's either like it was this weekend or it's upside down, tumbling down the backstretch.
Real quick, Brent, I want to talk about Ron Larson.
Yes.
And Brent, these stories probably. I'm sure you can comment more. Ron Larson's run his sprint car in Florida, in Ohio, in Indiana, somewhere else, all over the place.
All over.
Ron lives in a town called Quesnel, British Columbia. It looks like Quesnel, but it's Quesnel, British Columbia, which is 8 hours north of the border. He's a logger, so this is the time of year he's actually trying to make a living too.
Right.
That's him and his brother Richie and their father are legends up in that area. And I tell you what, he is a racer's racer. Yep. And Ron, when he first started coming down here, I used to sponsor him. So last night we were eating dinner. I don't remember. He looks at me, where you been all week? I haven't seen you at all, man. He was giving me hey, where you at? You know, that kind of stuff Ron does. And he's a character, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about Ron. What are your opinion? What's your Ron Larson story of the week, Brent?
Well, so we call him Bubbles. We call him Bubbles because he's just he's Ron Larson. He's a joy, hardest working race car driver out there. His closest commute is 22 hours. It's 22 hours everywhere for him. And man, that team is devoted. And we always give him a hard time because, in between heat races, we tell him, hey, you got time to rebuild your motor. So, and he has before. And unfortunately, because he's always changing stuff, and even if he's quick, he's changing it. And so sometimes he forgets which spacer's in or whatever. So we've DQ'd Ron Larson more times than he's done well. And that's unfortunate. But Roseburg 2 weeks ago, we ended up DQing him. And because he didn't have his restrictors in, he built his 360 because he'd been running 410 with King of the Wing, and he forgot to put them in. He said, "You don't even need to look; they're not in there." So I forgot. So I was smiling on his face. And but my best story for Ron Larson this weekend was, if he doesn't win, he thinks that he lost it all, and he knew he had a big lead points wise going in.
Sure.
And so when I came down the top of the stairs, and he'd gotten a little crash, but I think he finished 8th.
He got a lot crashed and just didn't end his night. He got a lot crashed. He just didn't end his night.
Yeah. So I went over there and he's like, "What? Am I disqualified?" I'm like, "No, I want you to go out and get your diamond ring." And that whole team just the smile on their face because they're used to disappointment. So.
Yeah, it was good to see. And he won. Where was it? He won on the half mile down at Irwindale or something here.
He did. He won on the half mile at Evergreen.
Oh, that's where it was. Yeah, he just took off and left everybody, and had it hooked up, and that's a big deal for Ron, and it's good to see because he is one of the fun guys. He's a character that makes the stories happen. So
yeah.
So on Saturday night, got to get into it a little bit. I know that's not a pleasurable thing to talk about when you have to take a win away from somebody, but we had one of the local kids in a local car do really, really well, and unfortunately, the same incident that happened to Ron Larson there at Roseburg seemed like it bit one of our local teams, Dave Perry's car with Justin Sakura behind the wheel. Tell us what happened there because I didn't find out about it until late last night.
Yeah. Unfortunate. That's the unfortunate part of our sport. We actually DQ'd 2 last night. Kyle Alberding was 3rd, and he was just a little too wide in the end of the night. And then the Justin thing, and that's unfortunate. It's 2 3/16, and I think they were 2 5/6. Yeah, 2 3/16, and they weren't much bigger. But if our no-go gauge slides through, then it's not legal. So it's definitely the part I don't like, and nor do you guys. I know that. So
no, tell me a little bit more. These are restrictors that go inside the injector cones themselves.
Correct. So they have the injector that comes up, and then for our 360s, we restrict them 2 3/16, and that's just to keep the horsepower close for like our cast iron guys. So if they run cast iron heads, cast iron blocks, then they can be open restricted. So that kind of keeps the field close. And then our 410s are restricted even more. We restrict them 1 7/8. So it's just to take less airflow through the
Sure.
restrictors.
I see. That makes more sense. And you mentioned the width for Kyle Alberding. Was it the width from the center line of the rear end out to the end of the right rear, or was it the overall width that bit him?
No, great question, because usually that is, but it was the overall width this time. And
well, you guys were checking it right in front of me as I was watching fireworks, and I didn't even notice it. I mean, I didn't even notice you DQ'd him, and it was 10 feet from me. But so it was the overall width that got him, so they threw a spacer or something on to kick the right rear out or whatever, or an offset wheel, something. Yeah,
they try to get it as wide as possible, obviously,
Sure.
and then they try to get that right rear kicked out as much as possible. So when, most of the teams do a really good job, and even that team of coming down and getting us and have us measure beforehand, and they ran out of time, and with the weather, kind of things got a little weird, and
sure,
they didn't even think about it. They said, another one. They weren't upset. They knew it. They saw it. So, but
I see. So last night's results. The old man. Now when we call Andy old, it just blows me away because he's younger than me. The old man Alberding put her in victory lane with the Justin being DQ'd, and he had a great run. I tell you, the kid is just flat hooked up, and he had a great run. Never made a mistake in that car all night. And I was talking to Andy right after he got off the scales, and I said, "Kid didn't make a mistake," and he goes, "Nope, he didn't even move one time." And he goes, "I thought I had him when we went that last yell." And
Yep.
he goes, "I was running as hard as I could possibly run," and he was kind of pulling away from me. So hats off to that team. But Andy, the old man Alberding, hopefully he's going to watch this and hear that. But so he won last night. And it looked like, I think Brian got second.
Was it Andy, Brian, and Randy? What?
Andy, it was okay, so it ended up being Andy, Brian, and yes, Randy Dubois.
Yeah, so your top three.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And
so you guys realized that it was an Alberding sweep at Meridian this week.
Yeah.
We talked about it last night over tacos
you know?
before you got there. We were talking about it over tacos from your sister's wonderful taco bar. But it was a great time last night.
But yeah, kind of cool of a Diamond Cup deal for those guys to both walk away with.
Yeah.
With the hard work. I mean, that's stuff that as a father and a son, they're going to be able to talk about years down the line. And
And the crazy thing is, in the wintertime, we'd outlaw kart race with them.
Mm-hmm.
And TJ and Kyle, my son Todd Jr. and Kyle and Andy would get in at 500. When he'd get in there, but those kids used to battle hard and get out of there and go play football or go hang out.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had that. It's neat.
Yeah. So all in all, though, Brent, you guys pretty satisfied with the 2018 Diamond Cup? I mean, we had the battle of the weather and all the other stuff, but from the NSRA side, I know from the fan side of the fence, the crowd was loving it.
Oh yeah.
You guys rolled 21 sprint cars out. It's the stuff that all of us talk about right now, all the little things and the penalties and the trying to get everything working. But on the other side of the fence, the fans don't see that. The fans see 20 sprint cars at Meridian Speedway, and it's just
buckets of beer, that kind of stuff.
Buckets of beer. It's
Absolutely.
crazy. So just from being on that side of the fence most of the night, it was an awesome show. You guys did a great job.
No, that was
thank you. Yeah,
that was beautiful on our end. And I say our end because I was in the spotters tower most of the day. And that was watching those guys rip around and watching the fans just go nuts when those cars would come through and what you feel when you've got 20 cars just pounding your guts with the V8s. Oh man.
That's the beauty of Meridian Speedway. Brent and I, and you guys have grown up there now too. And the beauty of Meridian Speedway back in the day when we had Super Oval working and Meridian working is still that you're so close to them.
Yeah.
And you feel them and you sense them. You got the vibrations. You got the wind coming off the wings and all that. And I know you agree, Brent. You're our guest. I'll let you comment on it, but it just is a different place. There are very few places like that. Roseburg has a little bit of it if you're low. State Line does if you're in the spotter stand. But they're so far away from them in the grandstand. But there are just a few places that you just go, that's cool, because they're right on you. I know we'd all love to go back to Anderson, Indiana, watch the Little 500. It's got to be similar.
Oh,
so what do you think, Brent?
Yeah, absolutely. Meridian Speedway, it is one of our favorite places to go. The crowds are better there than anywhere else in the Northwest. I think Ron Larson actually said that on the stand last night. He said, we don't get crowds like this at racetracks anymore. So that whole deal, and of course Adam and Kelly and that whole group, Brent, yourself, all of you guys treat us like we're family and home. And I know it's our home. A lot of those teams, it's not their home. But if anybody, I saw one of the guys, Adam was welding on it Saturday morning to get a bumper put back together. So very cool atmosphere, and I know the fans love it. When I was a kid, I was in the grandstand. When they were super modified, but absolutely, when Diamond Cup came to town, it was a special event. Yeah,
you and I remember, of course, the mixed bag where you had sprint cars, offsets, rear engines. It didn't matter. Diamond Cup was whatever you wanted to run. Andy Alberding's father-in-law and Kyle Alberding's grandfather, Rick Brown, coming with his orange sprint car. The one that Kyle has now is same livery on that car. And I remember that car coming here, and flat laying down a lap. It had to be like 11.7 back in the day. And then the Diamond Cup rained out.
Right.
Yeah.
It rained out. I remember, that sprint car was flying. That's the first time I knew a quick Rick Brown.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we had two guys, just a story, had two guys come up to us in the stands, and they were traveling through from the south up to Washington, staying at the hotel, and they saw some of the race cars. Talking to some of the drivers. This guy said he had watched World of Outlaws and sprint cars on dirt. They didn't even know that we raced sprint cars on asphalt. He said, we are dirt in the south.
Right.
And these two guys they were going crazy. You know, they were just excited and taking pictures, and they gave me their phone so I could take their pictures. The sprint cars went by, but that's cool because, you know, that's something those guys are going to know, and they're going to be able to log on and follow the NSRA, and that's the show you guys are putting on. So it's not only our local fans and the people that stand in line every year in June for that race. It's kind of cool to be able to draw some other people in, and now with our fans choice option, hopefully people around the nation are taking a look at what we did out there last night, Brent.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see, you know, everywhere we go, we try to get 2-day shows, and Friday night, you know, they say we can't get crowds, and we come to Meridian Speedway, and that place was jam-packed Friday night, you know, so that was really neat to have.
And it was still a good crowd last night. Considering the weather, it was still a really good crowd.
Yeah.
Brent, where do you go next?
Next, we will be at Mission Valley Speedway in Pablo, Montana.
Have you been there before?
I have never been there.
You're in for a treat.
Since 2013. I got a funny story about that one. So when we talked to the promoter, he said the last time we ran, they had the rodeo the same weekend, and so they were all kind of worried that the rodeo was going to attract the people. And when it was all said and done, the rodeo people came to the racetrack and said, "Hey, let us know when you're going to race next, because nobody came to our rodeo." So I'm pretty excited.
Right on. That's good to hear. So, you know, we were up against
sprint car fans in Montana, and they're throwing a huge barbecue for us on Friday night, the night before, July 6th, and then they're just paving the pits. So it sounds like it's under new ownership, and they'll have pit stalls by the time we get there. So I'm pretty excited.
Absolutely. I've been to that track, not during a race, but I drove by it. You know, when you're up in the area, you always go scout out the local racetrack.
Find a racetrack.
You know, and I went by the place and I said, "This is a racy joint. This is a racy joint." So you're gonna love it, and it's so beautiful up in that area of the country. If you haven't seen Flathead Lake or Glacier Park or any of that stuff before, it's God's country. Take an extra day, take your lady and get up there or something. It's just fun, good time.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. A lot of our, you know, it's the weekend after the 4th, so a lot of our teams are gonna do just do that. They're gonna take the week off and take their families, and then end up Friday night in Montana. So.
Right on. When you're up there, the Royal Purple Modified Series will be at Hermiston, Oregon. So there's not a further contrast, I think, that you could have. Sagebrush to pine trees. It's going to be so text me a picture. I'll take a picture of some sagebrush for you, and you can text me down a pine tree picture.
There you go.
Sagebrush will be in the pits, too. So
goat heads. You know, the goat head is the national tree of Oregon. Yeah, so you know, the goat head. Yeah. So they've done a lot of improvements at Hermiston. Greg Walden and the group down there has really made some strides. And, you know, we talked about it. I think it was you and I just briefly at Warpa last year, what's going to happen with the Yakima and with Hermiston and so forth. And it's nice to see Hermiston's really had a rebirth. I talked to Greg this morning real quick, and he's doing really well. The track is doing well. He says, my crowds are better than I thought. I got a little bit more money to spend on the racetrack than I thought. And he's very excited having us come. So maybe this November when we head to Warpa, Brent, we'll have another success story at Hermiston to talk about. Of course, Yakima, still there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool, Brent. Well, hey, when you're touching base with everybody, getting ready for your July race, tell them that we thoroughly enjoyed the NSRA down here again for Diamond Cup. I think.
Can't wait. I'm ready for Diamond Cup 2019. Yeah. I'm ready right now.
We're ready to see everybody again.
30 years.
30 years of Diamond Rings.
Next year will be 30 years of Diamond Cup. So, yeah, it's going to be epic.
Yeah.
It's going to be big.
Cool.
And I think we're doing the Super Modified reunion the same weekend.
Yep.
So I think we're going to get some Super Modifieds to debut. They won't run Diamond Cup with us, but they'll have their own. But
right. Yeah. Well, they'll have the Zircon Cup or something.
We'll get them. So yeah. Well, yeah, but definitely tell them all thanks. It was great seeing all you guys and bringing a huge field of cars. And of course, we'll see you again this year. But in between now and then, hopefully you guys have some good shows, and we can't wait to find some champions here later in the year at Meridian.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about you two guys,
for
but
having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I don't know about you two guys, but I think Brent might be our best guest ever.
Brent is the best
guest. I mean, you're right, just above Kurt Kern in my mind. Just above Kurt. But Kurt's, we love him. We know him. He's the guy.
Kurt Kern.
We just did.
Just the ever famous, very popular Kurt Kern. I think you might be our best guest, so we're going to hopefully have you back on Turn5.Live in the future. Sure appreciate you, Brent. Have a great evening, and good luck in your travels this year, and be safe.
Hey, you guys too, Todd, with the modifieds, and thank you guys for having me. And anytime.
All right,
drive safe.
All right,
thanks, buddy.
Having a beer for you.
Woo. Okay.
Bye.
Well, that didn't suck.
No, that didn't suck at all.
Pretty good interview.
That was pretty nice. Well, and to cap off a fantastic weekend of racing, from the highs of the heat to the lows of the water.
Yeah,
and for what they produce, what the World Purple Mods produce, man, that was good.
Yeah. Nope, it was definitely a good weekend, and can't wait to see those sprint cars again.
Oh, I can't either. I love them. And I think that I'm toying with the idea of driving up to Evergreen to go to the summer shootout. At the end of the month, and I don't know, maybe we'll do a Turn5Live from up there if you guys want to go or something. But I'm thinking about grabbing my kid and my wife and taking off. But also going to see a sprint car race somewhere. If you've never been to Victoria, British Columbia, and watch the Daffodil Cup, there's cars that you haven't seen before that are all up there. And those 14, the Williston was driving the 14 car. They got like 8 of them. They're all orange and they all come out. And guys that you haven't seen before, the Montgomerys and just all of them come.
Right.
And it's a big show. So they have their big shows up there as well. So
cool.
A fantastic interview. Unsung Heroes. Who you got, Brent? I got one.
Okay, you go first. Well, I think.
I have a hard time with Unsung only because you get people who don't get appreciated.
That's what I'm talking about.
But for me, that made my weekend and made me want to root and cheer. CJ coming out in the World Purple Mod and the effort they put in on Friday night, the effort they put in on Saturday to try to make the show, and as well as she ran, that was the best I've seen CJ run. She ran a great race on Friday.
To add to this, her attitude couldn't have been better. Her attitude and Robert's attitude, that was her pit crew.
Yep, going down and watching them work on the transmission on Friday.
Yeah, they run an automatic in that, and I think they're going to change that out. But CJ's attitude was great.
Right,
she was a pleasure to have. I want her back, and it looks like in 2 weeks she'll be with us at Magic Valley Speedway.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And of course, we've known CJ since she was born, pretty much. Right?
Yeah.
But
that
was my highlight for the weekend, is seeing her come up and to be comfortable and to do what she did on her first night out. That was awesome. Great job.
Yeah.
And I was at CJ's graduation party this morning. She's graduated high school.
What?
Moving on. Can you believe that? All these kids we were packing around the outlaw kart tracks. Now they're...
Next thing you know, Taylor's going to be out of high school.
No, they're all just... At least I'm not getting older.
I'm not old.
No.
Somebody already called me old tonight. They used to be my friends.
Not anymore.
Yeah, well.
Not till they grow up.
Yeah. Good people, though. My unsung hero, and I go back to this guy as a friend from junior high.
Oh, jeez.
I knew him. I don't know if he was a friend. I just knew who he was. Richard Scott. I got to talk about Richard. Richard drives a pace car and does a bunch of things for Adam at the racetrack. Richard was point on all weekend, smile on his face, helping everybody out. And that's a tough gig, to all the garbages, everything that he has to do at Meridian Speedway to keep the place looking great. And he turned that track back around. When we were all having fun Friday night, he was still working, getting the track ready for Saturday. He started almost instantly. While we were having beers, I saw Richard working his tail off. He drives the pace car, helps me out a ton. I like to get out there and do interviews and so forth on the front chute. And fantastic job. Didn't get frustrated, had a good attitude all weekend. So my unsung hero, all of Meridian Speedway really could have went down as an unsung hero with the dirt crew and Kelly Joe and all of them. But Richard stood out to me this weekend. So that's my unsung hero.
Well, mine, I'm just going to give it. We all know he's a hero, but I think just with the weekend that they had, and you know how it is being the crew chief or the dad or whatever we're called when they're racing. It's all about wanting to get those kids out there and racing. And with some of the stuff, I know that Mike Jackson was frustrated. Him and I talked a little bit last night. He's like, I've never had 2 mediocre days in a row.
Very rare for that.
He said, if we're mediocre, we're going to go and we're going to kick it the next night. And I thought they did well, but of course, he felt that. But I just think with watching his daughter go what she went through on Friday, and then trying to get Johnny up to the front both Friday and Saturday, and whatever the case might have been, they were just having some issues. But being in that dad spot, I just think he's the unsung hero because he's handled it very well. I mean, Sierra went through that up and over through that fence, and it's different. And Todd, it's different when it's your kid out there. I mean, I watch Kendra and Taylor and Melissa every weekend, and
sure.
It's a little different than if you're just on the other side. So unsung hero there, because the biggest deal is, they're going to be back out and they're going to be at the front of the pack, and Mike's probably working on it already.
Oh yeah. Sierra Jackson is a natural born race car driver. Sierra Jackson's one of the best I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
So, they'll put that mount back underneath that lady, and she'll be right up in the front rolling races, no time. And I'm sure she's ready right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think away from the crew chief mechanic part, I just think as a dad that I've watched Mike and Sierra forever, and now he's got Kate coming, and Johnny's in the team there. So more than the racing part, I think it's the dad part this weekend, because that's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
It sure is.
And then you still got to get a race car running for.
Was lucky enough to never have a big wreck with my kid, but. I wanted a go-kart, I guess, but it was pretty bad. I was just mad. I wanted to hurt everybody.
Yeah.
That weird thing goes on when it's your kid. It just changes you.
Well, and I had
for Bill. How many friends did I piss off over the years, and I got to rebuild those friendships?
Well, and I did. I had a couple of people like, boy, they went running out there to check on her, and they should have waited. I'm like, you know what? It is 1,000,000% different when it's your family.
You'll get run over.
Yeah.
If you try to stop them.
Yes. Yep.
Granted, methanol, we can't see it burn.
Right. But it is.
How you gonna stop it?
Yeah. So, but that's mine for the weekend on that.
Cool.
So
that's a good one.
But this weekend, we're back to racing again.
Here we go.
We're not that far away. Saturday morning, 9:00, gates open for the pitstopusa.com Summer Dirt Series Round 4. I think Dirk and the crew are going to add another class.
Now, what time do they go live there?
9, we open the gates.
11:15
racing.
11:15,
and we are going to be handing out trophies at 1:30.
It's been so crisp and fun.
Yeah, I mean,
the reviews back from this are awesome. Holy cow, that was fun.
Yep.
And as we've talked before, you and I remember getting home from Caldwell Indoor at 2:00 in the morning and frozen.
And snow, the kids are still frozen like this.
Oh yeah, and the dad was frozen too. But he was toughing it out.
Yeah.
No, I probably wasn't. I was probably complaining the most.
I was whining.
We had to build igloos to live in, and to have that crisp, fun show, and still have a Saturday left.
Mm-hmm.
One of our sponsors, Tony Flores, has his son running.
Yep.
And they're like, this is perfect. He is a realtor. And he goes, I could still go show houses at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yep. He's like, my whole day isn't gone. So hats off to Dirk and Adam and yourself. We're getting that going. It's been a fantastic deal. And the track looks beautiful. It looks great on the infield. It's not an eyesore or anything. It's fantastic looking.
Yeah.
And it's just fun.
Yeah. So those guys will be, we're going to go green at 11:15. They practice at 10:15. And it is very.
Donovan's girlfriend's here.
Somebody's barking. Do you have a date at 8?
You got any peanut butter, D? She had a peanut butter.
Yeah. She's going to have to. But then once we clear that out and we go dirt tracking tonight, I urge everybody to come out and watch the kids. Just
beer garçon, beer assistant.
Where I grew up, where my kids grew up. You definitely want to head out there and watch some dirt track racing. And then you come back to pitstopusa.com, NASCAR, Whelen All-American Modified Series, double mains. Yep. We've got a lot of double mains for that series.
All double mains to the end of September.
Yeah, so we're going to hit that again.
Beer.
The course Super Stocks return. They've had a few weeks off, so we'll get we've been 7 to 10 cars in the Super Stocks. Project Filter Pro 4s.
That's been a battle, too. The Super Stock's been incredible.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. If there's a class I want to see do well, it's been the Super Stocks. And they've had not a love-hate, but just one of those ones where you could be more.
Right.
And you're always wanting to see them. The style of car fits Meridian well.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. And the classes, it fits them.
It goes back to our Kenny Bowers, Larry Bowers days. I mean, that was
Dylan.
Yeah, those were the Super Stocks.
Right.
Yep, that's what I remember being 5 years old out there.
We ran what was essentially a limited late model back run up with my brother and I watching our dad run. And it's just on a quarter-mile track. Here we go. There's just nothing better than that inexpensive, fun, powerful racing.
Yeah.
Here you go, everybody. For you.
This is for you out there in microphone land, people.
So it'll be awesome to see the Core Super stocks back. And like I said, we've 5 cars, 6 cars, and 8 cars, 10 cars, 11 cars, and that class is going to be it's going to grow. And there's 4 or 5 drivers that are going to have a chance to win each night, and it's going to be cool to see them back out. They've had a couple weeks off. Pro Fours and Legends will be back. Teleperformance Claimer stocks, the class we've talked a lot about. They get to go Twin 25 main event racing this weekend.
I want to run one of those.
So
I'm old and fat, but I want to run.
You want to get in there? That's Jeff Sneathen and I were talking. That's those of us that have been. I mean, my dad started to bring me out here, and when I was 5 years old, that's Sean Miller, the Steve. That's street stocks. That's
Wirtz.
The Wirtz.
Del Bell. I can promise you, the next car that I build is going to be a Claimer.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get a V6?
A front-wheel drive.
Front-wheel drive V6 Honda Odyssey Claimer.
I'm thinking Nissan. Nissan's got a better manual V6.
What? Yeah.
Get an Ultima, Maxima.
I don't know.
That'll happen.
He was dropped on his head at birth.
And it just never worked.
I can do a minivan.
So, yes, your Teleperformance Claimer stocks are going to be out there. Now, they'll get 50 laps of main event racing. You split them in 2, and that'll be awesome for them, too. So, other than that, we're already in the middle of June.
Oh, I know.
I mean,
it's nuts.
We're looking for.
It felt like yesterday was October or something.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't feel like what we were in.
Jeremy, who brought the Crown Apple last night?
Was there some of the deal?
Oh my God!
Redbone went to their hotel to get.
Did they?
They were lit by the end of the sprint car main. They were all lit.
That Crown Apple.
Redbone was lit. If Candace is watching, Candace, you just start apologizing to people.
Right. There was a lot of that going down.
Yeah.
Right after you left.
Well, that's when the party starts.
That's when the shots were happening.
You know why I left last night about 12? It's because my feet hurt so damn bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still on. Remember, I'm still not that far out of the hospital here.
That's true.
So I'm still sick. So all this medication stuff I've got to slow down my blood. So it's a bit different. I don't have as much oxygen in my blood, so I've got to watch myself a bit.
I hydrated as much as I could from about midnight to about 2 a.m.
It's Diamond Cup weekend. Yeah. But yeah, so another big night coming up.
Yeah.
And we're just a couple of weeks away from, of course, the 4th of July.
Here we go.
Rolls us into Eve of Destruction and NASCAR K&N and King of the Wing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming up.
The Royal Purple Modified's next race is June 23rd at Magic Valley Speedway. Very excited about that. This begins our summer push. And the point standings, Eric Reed leading the point standings pretty comfortably. It's going to be a real battle for second right now. Hopefully Eric won't have any trouble, but if he did have some trouble, it's going to be really tight back there. I know Neil Latham's going to be close. Trevor's had only run 3 races of the 6 we've had, and he's going to be up in there.
Yep.
We didn't get John Grangine, who was sitting in 3rd place.
Right.
We did get his car owner to come drive his car, but Jonathan Gomez, big, huge push up the standings, and you got to say Zach Webster's probably tied with Neil. They're all probably really close.
There's a few cars there in front of Jonathan that weren't able to make it this weekend, so every point he made.
I wanted to talk a little bit about car count because I had a lot of people ask me, where are the cars? Where are the cars? Well, we lost 3 cars in Salt Lake our prior race, and those were cars that were all potential winning cars.
Highly competitive cars.
Yes, we lost them. We'll hopefully get everybody back eventually. I know that the 44 car of Al Jones is being reclipped, and they got some work to do there. Al took a heck of a shot. Aubrey Wortman's car, one of our lady drivers and our perennial front runner in our series, great little driver. Her car was hurt pretty good in the same accident. We'll get Longman back from his vacation, and hopefully, and we'll get them all back here on the 23rd, I hope. We'll see how that works down, but car counts aren't really down. We just were blessed with more last year and more early on. But the modified deal, it's real competitive.
Yes.
And to get it costs a little more than it should. And that's something I got to look at in the off season. It's costing a little bit more than it should.
Right.
To run a modified.
Or cylinder mods. Excuse me. Sorry, where'd that come from?
You shut the hell up. But 4-cylinder mods? That's a good idea. Outlaw Compacts. Did we do that once? We did that once. Right? Somebody took it over.
Yeah.
But no, we will have our car count back up. But we got to bond this modified thing tight. We really do. I know that the guys that are listening are all good on that.
Yeah.
But we got to bond this thing up tight. And with what Impact Motors did, the sponsor of the series, Kyle and Neil Latham did. If you need a used car, guys, these guys are fantastic. If your credit's terrible or down or something like that, Neil Latham is one of the best finance people I've ever met. He's very, very good with secondary market lenders and so forth. And they have good products. They don't go buy junk. They go through them. They're good mechanics. And I bought cars from them for my family. And I work at 17 different car dealerships, and I bought it from Impact Motors. It's true. That's a true story.
Right.
So give them a look. But they've been fantastic in building the camaraderie back up and taking care of some things this weekend for some people. We started cooking for each other again, which is a big deal to us.
Yeah.
You know, we barbecue together. We got to get that back going, and I think that we'll get that back. When we go to Twin Falls, I know we'll pick up the McKean car. We'll pick up, of course, Willie's got a car now. Willie Dalton, the Outlaw, one of the favorites here of the program, has got a car. We'll pick up, of course, that's Jonathan Gomez's hometown. I'm sure he wouldn't miss the race.
Yep.
We'll pick up, of course, Scott Gillian will be there. Badass himself. He'll be there. And we'll pick up some guys from Pocatello. We had a great run from Matt Egley. Getting used to a car. And we'll pick up some guys from Pocatello for that race, and we'll end up with our 16 to 18 cars like we knew.
I'd love to see the Hunsaker cars out there.
Everybody would. Brad Hunsaker is a good friend and one of the prettiest and cleanest cars you'll ever see. Brad, everything he builds is perfect. And Brennan Watt, Kiplish, that group right there, those kids are Brennan Watt's been an outstanding race car driver. And when he did come run with us the one time, even with the little crate motor in the thing, he ran like 4th or 5th and was flying on the outside. So there's a lot of talent there. Brad's a great friend. And I know they'll come when they can. And, they're trying to make sure that Pocatello still works.
Right.
And getting that together. And I understand that.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, we wrapped up last night with fireworks.
Always good.
Yeah, Fireworks America, those guys. I got to hang out with them a little bit there. They even let a fan blow everything up last night.
The old I don't know if it was them at Chaparral, but we always had a big explosion of some kind. Adam always blew something up. That was his thing, right? And so one of the things I really like about his fireworks shows is, there's going to be a giant flash pot of fuel or whatever the hell blowing up. And my wife's always, and I said, you got to learn to expect it. It's going to happen.
That's the finale.
We blow giant smoke rings up into the sky. That's what we do.
That's how the dumb announcer knows that it's time to talk again and get everybody out of there. But yeah, we had, Dan and the crew still throwing some crazy things at our Big Daddy's Barbecue Hornets and bringing that class back to the novelty class it was, so that we can have that little bit of separation for the guys that want to go racing and the guys that just want to go out there and have some fun. And the crowd's sticking around.
It seems like those Hornets lost their identity for a little while, last couple of years. Making them back into the novelty fun. Every race is a chance to go backwards.
Yes.
Every race is a chance to do something dumb.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to make them a lesser mini, just go mini stock racing. It ain't that much more to make a moderately competitive mini versus hey. We got to do it. Minis are a great entry level racing.
Do we have them at Meridian?
We have a few.
Just kidding.
I got like 3 of them sitting inside.
The beer assistant, this is true. The beer assistant right now is outside grinding on a mini stock as we speak at Donovan's mom's house.
Yeah. Right. Because I knocked on the door and you guys didn't answer, so I walked right through the garage. He didn't even see. Great security, though, by the way. I had to step
the girlfriend's in the backyard.
Yeah, the girlfriend's barking at the back door. She's really getting upset that we're not.
Sounds like a Friday night at Brent's house.
There you go. I kind of walked.
Never mind. I love Melissa. Never mind. She's a friend.
I am going to give her your phone number. You'll be hearing from her by 8:30.
She's got it.
Look at this. No more of this. We're done.
And to Melissa, I do apologize for maybe some of the things we said.
Yeah, don't let her watch the show.
That was
were you being rude?
Well, never.
Oh,
maybe out loud speaking.
Now you know why.
But she lives with an angel like me, so she's not used to that stuff.
Exactly.
Just like you, but not you.
Just like it might not be me. I don't know.
It looked like a penis, only smaller.
It is getting close to that time, ladies.
You know, we're at 1 hour and 8 minutes. I think we have well overdone our.
Oh, shit. Well, it was a good show right up until I got drunk.
I had something else to say, but I don't have anything to say anymore.
High school tuners.
High school tuners.
We did have high school tuners.
They were great.
We did not talk about them. And they ran in the rain. First time those kids have run in the rain all year long. For the most part, they did well.
Some of it's the first time they've taken a shower. They are high school kids.
They are. Well, at least for the last few years. Who hit the wall?
DJ Serrani took a heavy hit.
Oh, my. In the neon.
Yeah, DJ and James, we were talking to them before the night. So they were running the tuner class, and then they were given the option to run with the Hornets as well. So both of them were going to do double duty. And I don't know what happened to DJ. I just looked up as he was going into 3 and E. I was watching in the Fans Choice feed that we have up in the booth, and he nailed that thing. That's sad because him and his dad have that car on rails this year. He is there.
The 22, the 11, and I know they do a lot of work with the 2 Dodge Neons and the Minis.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are working hard. I always say his name, but Josh
Finopoulos, yep.
Is their uncle. They do a lot of work on those cars to make those fast, and they are, oh man, I was excited to see those cars go up into the Hornets, and hopefully you get into the Minis, depending on what their path they wanted to take is, and that car got hurt really bad.
Well, I think DJ and Chris will get that thing back. I mean, Chris
Ron is a racer.
Years and years since we all started out there. And
I asked him how it was. He goes, "Oh, we're fine." That's all Chris will say. I got to talk about Friday night. Dan McCoy's son hit hard in the Legend. That was, I can't remember Dan's son's name, but that was Carney last year.
Xander. That was right after Sierra's deal, and I was standing on the front stretch, and man, he hit a ton, both turn 4 and the front stretch.
Wow.
And it was tough to see those. You hate to see those cars get destroyed so early in the night. I mean, you don't want them destroyed at all.
It's a good little Legend car, and he's a good little kid. I talked to him at length before the night started because Dan has a modified car, and he runs in our series when we have some races. And just bad deal.
Yeah,
I'm glad he was okay.
Yeah, that one was. He took quite a hit up there.
And real quick, Sophia on Thursday night in the Junior Jenkins little purple car.
Oh,
she knows it in the wall pretty hard. I got pictures here. We're gonna go work on that hopefully tomorrow night. Get her back running. But with Sophia, she knows that in pretty good. She bent the whole front end up. It looks pretty bent.
Yeah, it has a bend in it. But
it crinkled.
But James Gates walked away with that win with the tuners. James is having a pretty good year there with the YMC crew helping him out. And it's good to see it. Jet Nelson.
Yeah.
He's jumped in that class. He also went Hornet racing.
He
and
grew into himself that race.
Yeah. I mean, he's putting it wherever he needs to put it to move it to the front. And
maybe take a breath and not be putting it so hard in there.
Hey, racing's in the blood there, so he's doing a heck of a job. So it's cool to see some of it. And then, like I said, this is what we've talked about the whole time. These are the kids. This is the future, and the future looks pretty darn bright as far as these young kids moving up.
And that's what this show's all about, except for I made some jokes tonight I probably shouldn't have.
Oh, Lord, no. Uh-oh. Somebody got a text.
Todd's an example, not a sample. Don't do what Todd does.
Uh-oh. Did we get censored? But yeah, I mean, so we got Diamond Cup in the back. You can always go on the Meridian Speedway. Tyler Shield gives us the full rundown of everything that happens.
Right. It does great write-ups.
Yeah. Tyler is on top of it. Bill and Tyler both throw some photos out, so if you want some cool photos. And then you got to kind of hand it to Jared and Travis Nelson. They are taping, doing all the live video. Fans Choice TV. You can go back and watch it, and that's how I like to do it. Like all this week, I go back and watch them. You can watch. You pick the heat race or whatever. When Melissa and the kids are
racing. It's like reliving a nightmare for me with the Royal Purple Series. All the mistakes I see that I made.
Right.
Bad calls. Gosh, that guy that runs it, he's an idiot. Yeah, he's a dummy.
But it's cool. I mean, I enjoy it. And there's one thing growing up at Meridian Speedway and doing the job I've done for the last 14 years, I love to see it on video. I mean, it's cool just to see what we've got.
I guess I can let the cat out of the bag a little bit, can't I? About what we got going. You want me to hold it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold that down.
But tune in because the Royal Purple Modified Series will be having some news coming about that here before too long.
Pretty
big news.
Really cool.
Really cool news.
Cool. Okay. You guys got anything else?
No, this was one of our funnest shows.
Yeah.
The first one was pretty fun too. This was a fun show. I want to really thank Brent Cool.
It's nice watching that it's been live for an hour and 14 minutes without dropping. I am pretty excited about that.
We eliminated the software we bought. That's why we're just right to YouTube.
We're gonna do
Donovan's personal YouTube account is working right now. That's fantastic. Brent, great job tonight.
Yeah.
We want to thank our sponsors, of course. We want to thank the Flores Group, Keller Williams, fantastic realtors. Please see those folks. They've been great. They also sponsored a bunch of sprint cars and a bunch of Royal Purple Modifieds. We want to thank AC2Z Mechanical and our friend Mark Newman, a great friend of race cars. We want to thank the Wardles.
Wardles with Lazy Day RV Rentals. We are definitely in the season to go rent yourself an RV. You don't need to buy it. Just rent one, check it out. It's ready to roll. Just hook on your truck and go camping.
And he'll give you a deal this week because he needs an axle.
He sure does. And a new quarter panel. And a couple other pieces of parts. And he just got a new motor. And that was the first run for that motor.
Yeah. I got to say something about a longtime sponsor of the Royal Purple Modified series, VoltVapes.com. Fantastic sponsor. Also, Lion Tamer Beard Care and Charmaine's Lip Balm. Lion Tamer Beard Care, interesting because we're commingling sponsors now. One of our sponsors, of course, Tony Flores at the Flores Group of Keller Williams. Big old beard.
Has a handsome man,
half Mexican white beard guy. Last night, Donovan, he is a good looking man. Last night, Donovan left some samples. I'm telling a story, you son of a bitch.
I just want to make sure Tony knows that I do not think he's hot.
Tony?
No,
he does not find
Tony's attractive.
You guys think he's hot? I like him.
That's not his girlfriend,
right?
Yeah.
Shit, like
Go ahead, Don.
But last night, Donovan left some samples in the trailer, and I gave him to Tony. He goes, I don't have anything like this. And he goes, this is Donovan's? And I said, yeah. So the product's high quality because Donovan uses only high quality. I've been out there with him on his vape stuff. I know that he goes, I could buy this half price, but I buy this because it's better. I've worked with him in the lab, looked at the stuff he has, which smells great, by the way. Your lab smells great. But Donovan does those products. It's fantastic stuff. I mean, not just because he's been a 6-year sponsor of the Royal Purple Modified series, one of my best friends. It's just true. My wife is a lip balm connoisseur. I've had to stop at places because they didn't have the right chapstick. She took one tube of Charmaine's, put it on, and said, oh, my God. This is a whole different level of lip balm. So for the sunscreen ability, the moisturizing for your lips, the fact that they won't get chapped, of course, and heals them. Fantastic product. So whatever you're doing, learning about all this stuff and just kicking butt, you're doing a great job, my friend.
If I could make a race car as well, I could make some of this other stuff. I'd be so much better off.
Well, I don't know. You're doing good.
But the Charmaine's products and the Lion Tamer Beard Care products are a proud sponsor of the Dirt Track at Meridian Speedway and Meridian Speedway General. And I believe, can you pick them up now at the concession stand?
You can. And actually, I worked quite a bit with some of the concession stand workers in there to educate them on what it was that we put in there. Kelly Jo and Adam had let me stock up 3 of the concession stands with Lion Tamer and Charmaine's. So you can go in there, check it out at there or at liontamerbeardcare.com or charmaines.shop.
.shop, baby.
Shop.
And Charmaine's is spelled with an S.
Yes.
SHARMAINES. Sure.
Charmaine.
Yeah. There you go. So cool. So we've got 2 classes, double mains coming up this weekend. Yep. Claimers and the Pit Stop USA are modifieds and racing all over.
Oh, and our friend Shelby Strobel last night was running third, a size third at Madeira. Bad crash on a restart, not of his doing. And ended up finishing in the back a little bit, 5 laps down. Heck of a run. Just didn't end up with the way they wanted it to end up. On the tours, what else? Today, Clint Boyer won the NASCAR race at Michigan. I didn't even watch it. I don't watch them anymore. It's kind of highlights.
Michigan is a fantastic dishes session. So if you're instead of watching the race, you can just go ahead and do your dishes.
Oh, is that what it is?
In California is exactly the same.
Right.
They were both built by Roger Penske. Interesting. Just if there's something else on, I'm going to do it. I just NASCAR's losing its appeal with me a little bit.
There is some great grass growing in my backyard, so it's fun to watch.
Yeah, you'd rather do that.
What do you charge for a lawn now?
To mow a lawn?
Yeah. Well, take that with you. That's it. That's not mine, so I don't know.
So to mow your lawn, Todd, Donovan owes me about
all these people, these people. Actually, this is our highest viewership we've had tonight.
That's because we've stayed online.
Consistent call.
It's like a podcast, only it
stays
online.
I'm learning.
You're doing good. You're doing good. But yeah, so Diamond Cup's done.
Yep.
Bunch of double mains coming up.
Destruction coming up.
Eve of Destruction. The dirt track at Meridian is on like an every other week deal for a
Perfect.
while. So
Perfect.
Works for me because I pick up my boy every other Saturday. So we get him at 10, we go have breakfast, and go watch some dirt track racing.
Right.
I'm thinking next weekend we'll probably end up with Mr. Dirk Myers.
We're going to get Dirk in here.
Finally get Dirk up in here.
And they've been having some classes, so this will be a good week to do it. And
Perfect.
Summer is in full swing in the quarter mile.
It's time to go hot.
We appreciate you all very much for tuning in to Turn5.Live. For these three friends that are idiots up here having fun, we're starting to really get the hang of this. I think the show's quality's come up a bunch. We're going to start making this thing a bit bigger, start marketing a bit. If you're interested in sponsoring Turn5.Live, our rates are very ineffective. They're very ineffective. But no, we're really poor and we need to buy better equipment so that it stays up. So if
apparently I need new software to run the show with.
Evidently. And we're all broke. We're all, single fathers. And that's not true. None of that. But if you want to sponsor the show, we're gonna put in some production quality for commercials during our breaks and some of that stuff. It's stuff that we've had planned and we're about ready to accomplish. So if you're interested, ring us up. You know how to get a hold of me or Brent or Donovan.
Right.
We appreciate you very much. We'll see you next week at 7 p.m.
Yep.
Sunday night.
And we'll do this again. Thanks. We're signing off. Have a great night.
I'm going to find the button to turn this off with. So
right.
rolling away.